Hello Flosstube, welcome back to Bumble Stitches. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube channel. It's really great to be seeing you all today, which is Sunday the 14th of May, and I believe in the US it's Mother's Day, so a very big happy Mother's Day to all of you enjoying that today across the pond. As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny May day here in the UK. The birds are cheeping and chirping. I hope it's not going to be too distracting. I've got the doors open on the conservatory because it's quite warm in here today. But hopefully it will just be some nice bird noises and not anything. If anyone starts mowing their lawn or whatever, we might have to close the door. So it's great to have you all back. Thank you to returning subscribers and viewers, and thank you to anyone that's joined me since my last video, and thank you for all your lovely comments. I just wanted to let you know that since I last saw you, I've been really busy at work, which is good because it makes the week go quickly, but also did have a few days off between the early spring bank holiday and the coronation, so that I could catch up with a few gardening jobs and house jobs and squeeze in a bit of stitching time as well. And of course really enjoyed watching all the coronation celebrations on the TV. I admire anyone that's got the gumption to go up to London in person and join the crowds, but I'm afraid that's not for me, and I think you do get absolutely the best view right in front of your TV at home. So I parked myself on the sofa. Alfie and I got him out early for a really long walk, so I knew he'd be nice and calm, and we sat there with tea and biscuits and some stitching and really enjoyed all the celebrations. So I hope that if you watched it you enjoyed it too. Okay, I'm going to start today's Flosstube with a few questions. I've noticed a few questions in the comments from last time, so I just want to run through a few of those, and then we'll get on with a couple of finished pieces of stitching, and of course all the whips, happy mail, haul, giveaways and all of that good stuff afterwards. So some questions. Dawn's Crafty Creations said, can I ask where you get your project bags from, please? Well, it's a variety of sources. I do make quite a few of my own project bags, or I haven't made one for a while, but I do enjoy making project bags. And also I've had bags from Pauline at Sobe Bags, bags from Patchwork Paw Print, bags from quite a few different Etsy sellers. I would say keep an eye on Instagram, because lots of bag sellers sell bags or advertise their bags on Instagram, and also put a search in for cross stitch project bag on Etsy and you'll get quite a few sellers. And if you don't want to get them from overseas, you can always put the filter on to say UK shops only. But yes, I am a bit of a sucker for a project bag. Ideally I like them to coordinate with the projects that's inside, but yes, I have got quite a few, and I've been given a few by some lovely friends as well. So the next question, Kim Stitchy Squirrels, I was talking about my tomato stitch up sale last episode, and she says, speaking of tomato charts, have you seen October House Fibre Arts Tomato Row? And she's actually added that to her stash. Yes, I have seen it, and that will be popping up when I show you my haul a little bit later on. I couldn't resist it, it's so cute. Barbie Joe Bonnet says, what a beautiful Prim Stitch series finish. And if you want to see that and you missed it, I showed that on the last episode, which was episode 39. This, I believe, is episode 40, if I haven't said that already. And she asked, where could I find the Union Jack pattern? Okay, I actually did a search on Google for a free Union Jack pattern, and then followed the stitch count of the American flag in Laurie Holt's pattern. This is part 1 of the Prim Stitch series, and adapted that freebie pattern to fit the area, the cross stitch sort of area that the American flag was taking up, and adapted mine to fit. If I can find a link to that free pattern, I will pop it down below. It was quite a while ago. I may still have a record of it on my iPad, so I'll see if I can find that for you. But yeah, good question. I just wanted to make it my own. I do love, I think the American flag is very iconic, and I think it's really, really pretty on designs, but of course being over here in England, it doesn't always suit the purpose of what you're stitching, although I'm not adverse to a little bit of Americana, and I'll have a chat with you about that a little bit later as well. Just a few more questions. Lots of people very kindly, I was struggling to, or thought I was struggling, turns out I hadn't really looked properly, to get some raisin coloured Orifil floss to finish off a project that I'd been working on. I'd exhausted my supply during Prim Stitch series, and quite a few of you got in touch. Catherine M was one. She offered kindly to send me hers. I did actually manage to get one. I've got it in my haul pile, but as you can see, I did get a spool here. I think it was from Exeter Sewing or Exeter something. Again, if I remember, I'll put a link down below, and it was actually colour 1140. So I have got a nice spool of that ready to go. But thank you all for your suggestions and help with that. And Angela Rosen says, what do I do with all my little pillows? Put them in a pretty basket or have them scattered around your home? A little bit of both. Most of my small pillow finishes that I've done so far have been seasonal, and so they will come out in the appropriate season or holiday, and I tend to put them in the tiered tray on my dining room table, and with the sort of, the most I have is for Christmas ones, and then they're sort of around the tree in the dining room that sits on the dresser. So there's, you know, it's really seasonal. I don't have many that are all year round, and those that are in my sewing room. I've got a dough bowl in there at the moment that I'm putting. It's a bit of an oddment at the moment. It's got Halloween in there, it's got Queen's Platinum Jubilee and a couple of others, but I do intend to have all my tomato related ones in my sewing room. So I hope that answers your questions. Please feel free to ask me anything, and of course my email address is in the description box at the bottom of this video. So yes, and I will try to be a good floss tuber and remember to answer them on my next video. So moving on, I would like to, I'm just going to close my iPad for a second. I will need to refer back to it when we do the winners of the giveaways. But I think I'll share with you a couple of finishes that I've managed to get done since I saw you last. And they're not fully finishes, but they are finishes. And the first one, most appropriate, and I stitched on this during the coronation, is this Happy and Glorious. And this one, I'll show you. This is one of, this was in a project bag that I made myself, a Union Jack one. And this is some old Cath Kidston fabric with all scenes of London on, so really appropriate for the time of year with all the celebrations we've been having here. And let me just share with you what goes with this project. So I had used, pretty much called for, I believe, mostly DMCs. So these can go back into stash now. Let's put them back in the bag. And the pattern, just bear with me while I get the front page. It's this Jubilee Joy pattern by Sarkers and Stitches. And as you can see, the one that I've completed, I've made a couple of changes. This one said Happy and Glorious and had no crown on the top of the house or the palace or whatever you take it to be. I decided it needed a crown on top, so I replaced the and with the little ampersand there. I just googled free alphabets and found one that would fit. This is a rather fabulous Union Jack pattern on this chart, and what I did do as well, if you can see on the chart there was some bit of a floral border at the bottom, And for complete transparency, I was stitching this during the coronation. It was started for the Jubilee last year. Happy and Glorious still totally applies, and I thought, do you know what, I'm done with this, so I'm going to leave that border out, and I'm just going to finish it as a pillow at the size that it is, and it can go alongside my Queen Elizabeth Jubilee one that I'd previously stitched and finished last year. Now this fabric is, I think I have the tag in here. As we all know, Alfie likes to eat the tags, so I don't always know what the fabric is. I think I have it on here though. And this was from my lovely friend Paula at Eva Faith, and she's on Etsy, and this is 32 count linen, and the colour is sand. And I have plenty left at the bottom. I've sort of folded this in half, so there's this much again at the bottom, because I think I might like to stitch at the bottom of that, if I can find it. I'll have to hold it back, I don't have an image. This is the chart by Michelle from Mama Loves You GB that was in the Patchwork Rabbit Advent last year, and it's May Flight of Angels Sing Thee to Thy Rest, which of course the King said of the passing of the Queen last year. I'm just going to hold that up there so that you'll be familiar with it. Yeah, so that was nice to get that completed, and I will make that into a pillow. I'm not even going to pretend to say that I'm going to be tidy this time, because it never happens that way. Let's put that finish on there. The next piece that I finished is another small, so it's going to be another pillow, and I'm doing the Keeper of the Pins by Brenda Gervais, and I'm working my way through the booklet. So as you can see, I'd done the Sewing Bird previously and finished that, and now I've done the next one here, which is My Soul is Fed with Needle and Thread. And I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but the tiny strawberry that's hanging from the tomato pincushion was actually over one, and normally that would throw me into a tailspin. I'd have to have a big build up to doing some over one stitching, because I think I've only done a little bit on my Anniversaries of the Heart. But I thought, well, let's not make a big deal out of it, let's just do it. And this is actually a 36 count linen. This is the one that Alfie ate the tag on when I showed you it last time, and it was a mystery, and only he and Paula knew the colourway, but Paula has told me that it's actually sycamore. So beautiful mottling on this one, gorgeous. And I just got on, did the over one, and it's not too shabby. It's, I mean, when you look at it with the naked eye, it's fine. Under the magnifying light, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny spider hanging from my camera stand that hopefully you can't see. He's gone back up now. One of those teeny, tiny little sort of money spiders. So that's a little finish that I managed to get done. All my tomato projects are living in my lovely tomato bag from Pauline at Sobe Bags. You can find Pauline on Instagram. And just for your reference, this is the booklet that I'm working my way through. So I'm doing them in chronological order, and the next one will be it's this one. Let me cover up the chart. So that will be the next one. I think that's the next one, or is it the lady? No, it is that one next. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of stitching on the spool there. But that'll be nice, that'll be nice filling. And I don't think there's any over one on that, so we're all good for that. I'm going to leave my tomato bag handy because I've got some more to show you from that later. And I do plan to get all of the designs on here. I think what I may do is just do a nice big running stitch where I've ascertained the border will be for this one, which is obviously further across than the top one. Just do a running stitch down with some waste thread, just so I know exactly where to start the next project. So I thought it would be nice if they're all on the same linen, so there's a nice sort of cohesive feel. Okay, those are my only finishes, but of course I've been busy with whips, and I don't think I have any new starts, although a couple of the whips that I've picked up were sort of oldie goldies, so they felt like new starts anyway. Before I carry on with the whips, I think I'd like to share with you some happy mail that I received, and I have it all in my Coronation shortbread biscuit tin from M&S, and it's almost like the law. You have to have the celebration tin of biscuits from M&S, and of course we tidied up the biscuits quite quickly. Well, Alfie and I did. And in here I have got some very beautiful happy mail, and this is from Robin, and Robin's in the States, and she contacted me and because she wanted to send me something, so which was very, very kind. Thank you, Robin. It's really, really kind of you and generous to think of myself and Justin and send, because she put wishes for our wedding and our, you know, birthday and that, everything. So really, really kind. And what she sent me is gorgeous. She has actually made this beautiful mini pillow or pin cushion, and you can see it's got patchwork, charms, little buttons, and this side it's kind of like a pinwheel, these little pieces, beautifully made, gorgeous colours. This will go in my dough bowl, Robin, so thank you for that. She also sent me this gorgeous little EPP. I'm guessing it's to be used as a coaster, but I'm certainly not going to set my cup of tea on it in case I get tea dribbles on there. But I think it will be nice. I've got a little pot that sits on my sewing desk, like a jam jar that's painted, that I've got bits and pieces, my little seam roller and a little ruler in and a pencil. So I think that might look really cute sitting on there. So it's gorgeous. And a couple of teeny tiny fabric carrots, which I'm going to pop in my dough bowl to enjoy for a little while, and then I shall put them away to come out again with all the Easter goodies. The spider's back again. He's gone back up. I'm really curious to know if you guys can see him, because he is tiny, but he just keeps going up and down. He's about here, so let me know if you can see him. I haven't got the heart to get rid of him because he is absolutely miniature. So those were from Robin, and she also sent me this lovely chart, which is Christmas alphabet from Primrose Cottage. So generous. Thank you again, Robin. That was lovely of you. And whilst I was preparing for today, I came across these variegated DMC threads that Paula put in my advent calendar this Christmas just gone, and I thought they would be perfect to use with this project. So I'm going to keep them all together. Okay, that was my lovely happy mail. So I'm going to put that to one side, and then we can have a look at some actual whips that I've been working on. And I'll put my tomato bag to one side as well. Okay, so first up, if you're a long-term viewer, you'll know that in my lunch, what's that that's fallen? Okay, we need to grab that in a sec. In my lunch hours at work, I like to catch up on some stitchy time. I've left the needle in this. I'm just going to move that to one side. And that's indeed where most of my Prim Stitch series happened. But now we are on to Home Comfort, which is the Jane Austen sampler by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. And when I'd left it, it was completely half. I hadn't done the Jane Austen bit across the top. The border hadn't met. I've nearly finished the border. But you can see I've managed to get a little bit of work done on this, and it was decided after I was not feeling it. I shared it on this channel, and some of you said don't do the bottom alphabet, just do the top bit, and I'm going to make it into a pillow. So really looking forward to that, and that's such a nice stitch for lunch times because I can see it without my magnifier, And that really is the only prerequisite for being lunchtime stitching. I just need to be able to see it. And this is in a bag, just cover up because the chart's in there. This is in a bag from Patchwork Paw Print, and they are on Etsy. This is a Laurie Holt fabric one. So that's starting to take shape. So I'm wondering if I'm going to reach down for that fell. I might have to pause and grab that in a little while. The next whip that I've been working on is the beautiful Make-A-Wish stitch along for this year with Fat Quarter Shop, which is Bountiful. And we are currently stitching on part 3. So part 1 was the border, part 1. Part 2 is the first basket block, and part 3 over here is the long flower and a butterfly, and it just started on the last butterfly there. It's in four quadrants, and then there's a big T section of flowers and leaves that goes right through the middle. And if I just share with you, I don't know if you can see clearly, so that's what the finished project will look like. And it isn't too late to join in with this one. The pattern itself or the chart is free, but we do, or they do, ask that you make a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation to help that charitable cause. I'm stitching mine with a 32 count gingham Murano linen from Fat Quarter Shop, and all the called for Classic Colourworks flosses. And I'm really loving how they are playing nicely on this linen. This linen is a little bit of a tight weave, I'm finding, for a 32 count. I have to really stretch it out on my hoop. And I'm using a size 28 needle and stitching 2 strands over 2 linen threads. Had I realised when I started, I think I would have stitched 1 strand over the 2. But I'm really liking the depth of colour and the way this is finishing, the way the stitches are showing as they're being finished. So that's my next whip, and I've got my flosses in the lovely little Bountiful box that matches. There is a DMC conversion for this as well, because I know not everyone, you know, you may not have the budget for fancy flosses, and I am a big DMC fan. Okay, let's put this one to one side. Hopefully I'm not rushing. I feel like I might be sort of rushing along a little bit. I know that I've got Lulu and Enzo visiting this afternoon, so I'm very conscious of that and making sure that I am all ready when they arrive this afternoon, because Enzo is very nearly starting to crawl. So it's always good fun, and Alfie absolutely adores him and goes completely potty whenever Enzo arrives. Okay, the next whip that I have been working on, this is where the oldie goldies are starting to appear. Now this next one is All Creatures Great and Small by Barbara. And I have made a little bit, it's a tiny bit of progress since I last picked it up. All I've managed to get done this week is the bee and the bee skep, and I've just followed this sort of border along here that they're standing on, and the actual main border goes along a bit more at the top. But it was nice to revisit this. I'd forgotten how much I loved it. I actually dyed this linen myself. It's a 32 count Murano, but I bought as white and then did with some walnut crystals. So I've got some really nice mottling on that, and now I'm all in love with it again. So let me just share with you. This one lives in a bag that was a gift from my friend Sue in Australia. Thank you, Sue. I'm still loving your bags that you sent me. And the flosses, the chart actually calls for anchor, and I do actually have some anchor flosses in my stash, but not a huge amount. And DMC is much more readily available. I don't know if Anchor is more popular over in the States. I know that they started doing those spools, which looks really interesting, but it isn't something that that I've seen readily over here. So here is the chart, just as a reminder. It's quite a biggie. There's quite a lot of stitching going on there, and as you can see, I'm just over here at the moment. What I'd like to do is get across and work my way sort of across if I can. And this is a very densely stitched area here, the grassy hill with all the animals and people on. Beautiful though, as I think I've seen it. I know lots of people have stitched it, but the two finishes that spring to mind were Nikki Noodles, who did a gorgeous finish, and Laurie Holt did a gorgeous finish of this particular chart. These are my flosses that I'm using, and they're all DMCs. Gorgeous palette, quite a few there, but all absolutely beautiful. So it's been really lovely to revisit this one. Again, this is it's a 32 count. I'm stitching 2 strands of floss over 2 of the Murano threads. And as I'm mostly stitching at the moment on 36 count with 1 strand of floss, it feels really different to stitch with 2 on 32 count. But I'm not going to let that stop me. I know when I've watched Brenda and Laura, sometimes Laura is reluctant to go back and stitch anything that was 2 strands of floss, but I don't want to lose the progress. I know this is nowhere near done, but I don't want to waste what I already have done, and it is stitching up really beautifully. So that's All Creatures Great and Small. It was really just, oh, and the other thing with this one was, again, thanks to all your lovely suggestions when I shared this before as a project that I was struggling with, because I had started so close to the top of my linen, and you clever things said just stitch a piece of scrap fabric on the top, which I've done, and so that makes life so much easier when I'm popping it in my hoop now. See, with our collective mind of cross-stitch knowledge, I don't think there's anything that we can't do as a stitching community. People always have such good ideas. If you're ever struggling with anything, you know, if you're on Instagram, ask people. If you're on Flosstube, ask your viewers. If you are a viewer and you've got a problem, drop it in as a comment. And, you know, it is amazing how there aren't many problems we can't fix if we work together. Okay, so that one can go back in my lovely Sue bag. And then my final whip Okay, my final whip is one that it was a whip, but it was really a new start because I'd done so very little on it. And this one, if I can get it onto my board here, and I don't even know, this is proper mystery linen. I don't know where it's from. I should have a look in my old cross-stitch notebook and see. This is Grounding Force by Heartstring Samplery. And I think when I shared it in my whip parade, I had a little bit of border done and this one sort of strawberry type flower up here. And while I was off, I thought, let's get that border done. Let's get some leaves in. And I've done the tree and the little chair, the outline of the grassy hill and the beginnings of the house. This is a 36 count mystery linen. As I mentioned, it is, I'm stitching one strand of floss over two strands of the linen. Let me show you. This is in a bag that was one of the first project bags I ever made, with a vinyl front and a bit of quilting on the back. It was the only vinyl I had at the time. It's really poor quality thin vinyl. I don't think this one will stand the test of time, but it was fun to have a go. So let me just grab my flosses and the chart. I'm going to take the chart out of the bag so that you can see it properly. And the model's actually stitched on a black or very dark grey linen, and so pretty. But I didn't really want something that dark. I do struggle with stitching on black fabric, certainly in a small account anyway, and I thought it would go better. Obviously this is something that I'm hoping to put in my sewing room at some point if I did it on, on a more neutral linen. I'm using all DMC. Beth Twist does give you a conversion to DMC in the chart on my lovely Thread Milk Designs floss drops. If you haven't seen these are adorable. These are all old sort of milk bottle tops, milk bottle caps. So that's super cute. And yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be back to this one again, but it was really nice to get a bit of action on it. And that's the last of my whips. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of those. I don't know what I'm going to be stitching on next. I think I will finish off this evening the Bountiful part 3, so that's complete. And then I feel like I've got itchy fingers, like I might need a new start, and I think I know what it's going to be, which I'll show you in my haul in just a moment. So let's put this one away. Okay. Shall we do haul, or shall we do, let's have a little look at the giveaways from previous episodes before I do that. And then I will show you some bits of haul that I've acquired since I saw you last time. Now, from my video 38, I had this bundle of quilt pattern, cross stitch pattern and needle minder, all the support group, which was Laurie Holt for It's So Emma. And this little bundle was won by Nancy Bunt. And Nancy, I haven't heard from you, so I'll give it until the next video. If not, I will recall this, redraw this one. But Nancy Bunt, if you can get in touch by email, which is down in the description box, and let me know your address, I can get your prize off to you. And this has never happened before. Both winners from that episode haven't been in touch. The winner of these two charts is Leanne Dyson. And Leanne, same for you. Please get in touch. Otherwise, if I haven't heard from you by my next video, I will redraw these from the comments from that video. So that's that little piece of housekeeping done. Now, I had giveaways from last episode, and I just need to get my iPad out again I did the random comment generator this morning, and I had two prizes. One was this fabulous mandala lion kit from Maloka Designs, and this was the full kit with the fabric, the chart, all the flosses, everything you need. And this has been won by Sue. I'll put your details on the screen, or your comment on the screen. So congratulations, Sue, you've won the mandala lion. And the other prize, which is the Bowerbirds chart from Hello from Liz Matthews. This has been won by Red Hill Needlework Sharon. So congratulations to both our winners. If you could please get in touch with me by email, and I will get your prizes off to you as soon as I can. Okay, I'm going to show you some haul that I've acquired, and then I'll show you some goodies that have been sent to our channel, if I can reach them, from our friends at Fat Quarter Shop. Before I do that, just a couple of little, haven't really got a category, but little things that I wanted to share with you. A while ago I was watching, and I'm blanking on the names of the two stitchers. They are a mother and daughter team. They often do their Flosstube by like Zoom, and the mum has got the most beautiful curly hair, and I'm blanking on the names. If I remember, I'll pop it underneath here. But they were showing that they keep little tins with their notions in for their cross stitching. Now for me, with Alfie, and I guess if you've got small children or any sort of pets wandering about and you're worried about scissors and needles and sharp objects and things like that, I thought brilliant, tin is such a good idea. So I happened to be in the garden centre with my mum and Lulu and Enzo when I was off from work, and they had beautiful displays of lovely chocolates and biscuits and all those sort of, you know, fancy things that you wouldn't buy in the supermarket but randomly are in the garden centre. And they had these gorgeous little chocolates, and these were Spanish chocolates, as you can see. The company's from Barcelona, and be rude not to, wouldn't it? There were cappuccino flavoured chocolates in here, which are Justin's favourite. So I thought, two birds in one. He gets a present with the chocolates and I get the tin. So I thought that was really cute, because I just popped my needles, corner gauge, needle minders, scissors, all in there. And it is out of the way of tiny paws and little tiny doggy noses. So just thought I'd share that with you as a cute little idea. And when I was watching Christy from Java Girl Stitches, she's been sharing her little tiny hoop finishes that she's using as either floss rings or zip pulls on her project bags. And I thought, I've got one of those somewhere, I need to have a go at that. And I remembered I did. I had this little tiny one that came in my Patchwork Rabbit advent calendar. You can get these on Amazon in packs, and I believe in the States lots of people are getting them from Hobby Lobby. But yes, I thought I'd have a go at that. I need to find a little tiny motif to put in there. But yeah, I just stumbled across that while I was getting ready for today, and I thought, oh, I'll just share it with you. So look out for what design I put on that. I think I'll probably use it as a floss ring, so that's a really cute idea. Okay, I am waffling on now, aren't I, like a professional waffler. I'm just going to reach down here and see if I can grab the thing that I dropped. And just about grab it. Okay, now I have had some pretty things arrive in the post lately, and I also did a little bit of shopping. Okay, the first thing that I wanted to share with you, I am in Vykky of West Green Loft Yarns, as well as yarns. She does beautiful hand-dyed yarns. She also has hand-dyed cross-stitch fabric and floss clubs, and I'm a member of the fabric club, and this is the colour for May, which is biscuit. I get a 36 count fat quarter, really reasonably priced. I think Vykky ships internationally. I can't recommend it enough. It comes beautifully packed, and it's this lovely neutral. I haven't actually opened it yet, just open it now. It's a beautiful neutral, very, very subtle, gorgeous, scrumptious piece of linen. The trouble is, Vykky, you make these too pretty, and I feel like I have the need to just stack them up in a pretty pile and not actually use them, and heaven forbid cut into them. So that was my Fabric of the Month club from Vykky. The next things that I got, it's not a huge, I didn't buy a huge amount of things. As the comment, the question at the beginning of the video mentioned the tomato row, I did get a copy of this one, and it is super cute. I like the fact it's a completely different shape and size of pillow to go with all my other tomato projects that I have planned, which I'll be sharing more in just a sec. And it is also charted for DMC. I can't show you the back because the chart's on the back. I think the call for was Classic Colourworks and Weeks Dye Works. I'll probably do it in DMC. I'll probably pull it from Stash, but how cute. I got this from 123 Stitch. In my 123 Stitch order as well, because I had mentioned in a previous video that I was struggling to get some Aztec red linen for this project chart I bought previously from Hands On Design, Tomato Tomato, and of course the red is used for the actual tomato, and a couple of people said 123 Stitch have it, so I bought a piece of that. Gorgeous colour, And while I was there, I thought I may as well just get the called for colours for that design. So I got the called for that. I just need a piece of grey for the actual tray, but I've got quite a lot of greys in my stash, so I can shop from my own stash for that. And the other piece of linen that I was very excited to get was a Weeks Dye Works Onyx in 30 count, which is this. It's not as dark as it's showing on the screen. The spider is back again, by the way. It's the kind, this looks to me in real life like when you've got some really nice dark black jeans and they've had sort of 2 or 3 washes in the washing machine. So you just start to see the weave of the fabric more as there's a very slight fading. So I was very happy to get that because that will be used for, if I can get it out, this, which I am obsessed with, and it's the Black Cat Sampler by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. Isn't he handsome? So now I have the fabric, I can actually start shopping for the threads. I think they are all DMC, so that works perfectly. So I think I need to be kitting that one up quite soon. The next things that I added to my stash were some flosses to kit up some of my tomato projects for the tomato stitch up sale, which I would love you to join. There is a little hashtag which I'll put across the bottom of the screen, and I went to my nemesis, which is Hobbycraft, because their DMC is horrendous, but I had the itch to buy floss that I had to scratch that very day, and I did have a voucher, so it made it a little bit less painful. But anyway, what I wanted to kit up was some of these tomato projects. So I have this one, which is the PA Dutch Tomato Pin Keep from Brenda Gervais, and I'd already ordered the chart and the Lady Dot velveteen, although this doesn't call for Lady Dot. Mine is not really, this is more, well, certainly on the photograph it's more of a corally red, but the red that I've got is Heirloom by Lady Dot Creates, and I took this with me and got this DMC 498, which I think is a pretty darn good match. So I'm going to be using that. And I had a piece of linen in my stash, and I think this is a bit of a mystery. I think it's a 36 count. Not quite sure where this linen's from, but it's good to be able to use that one from my stash. So that project is good to go. That's a contender for a new start. While I was in there, I also picked up this little packet of seed beads in the cream, and these are to be the heads of the pins in the pin cushions of the, I can't remember the name of it, Keeper of the Pins charts. So everywhere you see the little pins in the pin cushions, the charts call for some little seed pins, seed beads even. So that's going to be fun and games sewing them on. I have to find a really fine little beading needle. The next chart that I wanted to kit up is Needle and Flax from Teresa Kogut, and this one I have kitted up with, again, this is a mystery piece of linen. No, this is a 36 count. I think it was summer khaki. I started something else on this, can you see? Something that's like been retired. It's a Zweigart, and I think that's what the other half of, is that the same? No, it's different. Yeah, so I'm going to be stitching it on this. I think it calls for a 40 count, but that's not going to happen. And all the DMCs, I really would like to get all my DMCs on those nice white teardrop shaped floss drops at some point, and all super organised and super pretty, but this is what we're working with at the moment and it works fine. So all the DMCs ready to go for that one. And I love kitting up projects. I know some people sort of love it or loathe it. I love kitting up a project. And the last one that I kitted up is this one here, which is from the Scarlet House, and it's Try to Mark Well. This calls for 40 count again. So I have got a beautiful piece of 36 count linen. This is the colourway Catkin, and again it's from Paula's shop, Eva Faith. So I used the cross stitch calculator. I think it was the Yarn Tree one I use, although Fat Quarter Shop have one now, and I can have a 2.5 inch border on that. And this one actually called for, in the chart, it calls for 103 silks, or there's a DMC conversion, so I have gone with the DMCs. So I don't know what I'm going to start, what's going to be my new start. Do I carry on being really good and working through the keeper of the pins, or do I just go tomato crazy and do something else? It could be the October House one, although that's just typical of me. The one I don't have kitted up is the one I want to start, so we will see. Okay, so finally, last but not least at all, I had a package of goodies arrive from Fat Quarter Shop. Thank you, Fat Quarter Shop. I really appreciate you supporting my channel, especially since I'm over here in England. It's very generous of them. They've sent a variety of charts and a little template as well. So the first one is this gorgeous hattie from Laurie Holt's Chicken Club series. I think this is number 3, or yeah, number 3 of 12. She's super cute. Hattie's got her hands full with 2 chicks there. These are all charted for DMC. The next is number 2 in the Simply Signs pattern series, and this is Welcome. This calls for DMC as well, and this has been stitched on Kimberly's light blue 14 count Ada, which is stunning, and quite a long one, 22 3/4 finished size if you stitch it on 14 count. Obviously you can stitch on whatever fabric you choose. So there's that one, and another series. There's some really good series at the moment from Fat Quarter Shop. This is a monthly one. This is the Stackables, and this was the March Stackables. All the springtime going on there. Watering cans, butterflies, little bird houses and a flower. And again, this is all charted for DMC. The Stitch Card series by Laurie Holt continues and just gets better and better in my opinion. And we have set O here. And these are the these are sort of like the traditional sampler sort of type. You've got the birds and the flowers and the house and the alphabet. Really, really cute. Again, all DMC charted. Stitch on what size you like. Make them teeny tiny on a high count. Make them really prim with some sort of prim looking fabric. Make them really modern with some brighter colour fabric. Switch up the colours. These are really, really versatile. And set P, which is the sewing set. Really cute sewing machine and scissors and all of that good stuff there. And finally, this little template, which is a quilt template, and it's the Flag Day Tumbler template. And this is to go with the quilt that's in the Summer Memories book by Susan Ockey. And I'm a bit sad because the book's out of stock and I don't have it. And I really, really love this quilt. And as I was mentioning earlier in this episode, I'm not in the US, I know that, and people might say, Nicola, why would you want to do that? Because it's cute and I like it. So I'm hoping to get my hands on a copy of that book so that I can have a go at this quilt with some nice scraps from my stash, and also to stitch some of the beautiful patterns that are in there. So that brings me to the end of the goodies. I would like to give a couple away to you today. So I would like to give away these 3 charts. So each one will be a giveaway prize. If you're interested in lovely Hattie, use the word chicken down below in the comments. If you're interested in the stackables for March, use the word March in your comment. And if you are interested in the beautiful welcome chart from Simply Signs, use the word welcome. Of course, I'd like you to be a subscriber to enter the giveaway. I'd like you to like the video, and I need you to be over 18 so that I can ask you for your address so that I can post you the prize if you're a lucky winner. And that is today's episode, and I'm excited because it's not long now until Enzo will be arriving. I need to get this stuff cleared away, get organised, and look forward to a nice afternoon. And I wish you all the same, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.